Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I made my card, which is fun. Wow, I don't know why I put the dash, but this is my card. It's super duper simple. Um, like really really simple. So, I always start from scratch. I do not like going off of templates. It doesn't really work for me. I usually just delete these things. Um, Obviously accept that. So, for the background, I go gradient. You could always go image or video or anything. On some cards, actually, I have put like a static GIF in the background, then put a gradient over it, and it looks kind of cool. Um, but what I do is, so you can mess with the gradient, make it more blue, make it less blue, make it more purple, whatever you do. Again, that's like more up to you. So change the angle, whatever. I usually like to keep mine sort of like diagonal. I just think it looks better that way, and you can cover more surface area that way. Over top of it, what I put, I believe, was diamond grid, and I just up the size, up the thickness. And then I made the color match the background, so I made it a soft green, but for this you would probably want to do like a purpley. Maybe, yeah, something like that. And then you could change the opacity, so turn it down, you know, make it smaller, kind of, you could really get creative with this. I'm actually gonna change it to a different pattern. I'm gonna do our dots. So on top of that, you want to put container. That's it. So you go for the container. I selected columns, that way I could put multiple things. So you want to change the appearance of that container. So in order to do that, you want to pick a background for it. I usually just do a color. I usually do white. But since this background is more bluey, we'll go for like a bluey white kind of. You can make it a little more transparent if you like that. I usually like to keep mine opaque. So you could do that. You could add a gradient, whatever. Again, similar, very similar. You can I usually like to add a drop shadow on mine just because it makes it stick out a bit. I'll probably go for like kind of a more pinky purple drop shadow, and I will turn that opacity down just because it gives it a nice warm, if you draw or anything, you kind of know what colors are complementary. Whatever. Corner rounding, you can round the corners, you can not round the corners. Both can look really nice. I personally usually round mine. I don't usually mess with these settings that much, but you can, if you so choose to. Really just play with it. There's a way to add a border here. Here we go, border. So you add the border this way. I'm gonna have to edit this video down. I didn't intend for it to be that long. So you add a border. You can obviously widen that border, make it smaller. You can make it more transparent if you choose. I will probably, again, keep mine opaque. I usually do. That's just personally how I like it. Make it stand out. You can remove it from the sides, from the top and bottom. Completely up to you. And you could also change the style of it, which can be fun and can look cool. Especially if you do something like that, you can like turn that opacity down and make it look cool. I will keep mine, like I said, opaque, and I will keep it solid, just so that I can match on my card. So to add in your information, you just stick a little text box in there, and then you make it say whatever you want. So usually I do my @ so let's just say at example user. From there you can, you know, I usually like to bold it and make it a bit bigger. Sometimes I italicize it. You can change the font, whatever you want. Yeah, essentially change that font. So you can see the weight of the font. That will change. It really adds a lot of dynamic to the font. So, you can change the margins if you want it closer or farther away. But for now, we'll leave it as is. So we'll add another text box. This one we will just leave. So we'll say, you could usually add in like little like icons. You just have to look them up. Or if you know the alt codes. Like, I usually like to make these two texts different colors. So I will go ahead and make this black. And I will go ahead and change the font as well. So you generally you want to find one that's like similar, but it doesn't have to be the same. So I feel like this is similar enough. I'll go ahead and turn the weight down so it'll stand out down that size, and I feel like that really makes this stand out. So if you find an image that you like here, usually you want to look for something transparent, just so it looks like a little sticker. So you would insert an image, and you could just drag it over right there. And I'm just going to insert something random that I happen to have. So I'm just going to go into my pictures and insert just a random photo. So I'll go ahead and insert this because it happens to be the first thing I clicked on. So you can resize that however you please. I usually like to try to make things even, so for this I would want to make the image smaller so that they are all sort of even here. You can also adjust the container this way, so if you feel like it's too wide, you can make it a bit smaller, or if you feel that you need more room, you can make it as wide as you want. I feel like this would be an appropriate size because it doesn't make the text bunch up. But generally I like my oh, you could also do that. I forgot to mention. I usually like to keep them kind of more square but still a little bit rectangular. You could add more things above and beneath. You know, you could add usually I like to add my next arrow, my little button. So you would add either a button or a link. I use buttons, but links work as well. You could put it under the image, or you could put it under the text. Just, again, whatever you prefer. Whatever you think looks nice. So a link, you can say, you know, say something like, click here. Or you can draw a little arrow, or you can, you know, whatever. Or, you know, if you want to make your next page like DNIs or a bio, you know. So that's how you would use the link. For the button, you can be a bit more creative. You can solid outline. I prefer the way solid looks for this specific theme, because you can, I feel like it just doesn't look as clean cut or as nice. I usually like to match the button to the border or to this, so you can just go ahead and copy and paste that over, or you can try to color match if you so please as well. It just, you know, it just depends. So I don't like to include capitals. That's just my personal like aesthetic. But so I would just say, you know, like next. And then you would want to make the URL whatever you're gonna make the next page. So you would want to make it example user 3, because I'm sure that's probably taken. .card.co/ and then this part's important. You have to put a little hashtag there, or else it is not going to work. slash hashtag next. So we'll just call the next page next. You might have to put, yeah. So I did type that wrong, so you would click done. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that username just so I remember it. The label would be the text, so if you want to make it maybe like a less opaque white, you could just turn the opacity down, or you can make it kind of more of a bluey white to match the background here. You can also round the corners of the button. You can round them completely or make them sort of match the container here. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it square. This here is an interesting function though, because as you can see, if you hover over the button, nothing happens. But you can change it so that if you hover over the button, it will change colors. That way you know that you're hovering over the button. So then at this point, you would want to make the next page control. And then you need to be sure you name it whatever you made that link there. So we will be naming it next, I believe is what I named it on the... So then from here, you can make another container. And it should copy the style above. If it doesn't, then go ahead and click on the container and then add a new container and drag it downward. If you click on something, that's actually a good trick with Card. If you click on something, it will copy the style of that thing that you're clicking on. So like for text, you could do that and it'll copy that style, or you could also click on that and then text, just for an example, it will copy the style of the thing that you are currently highlighted on. So on my Lucio's card here, you can see that for the next page I put like a little title. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention you can put drop down shadowing on text as well. So that is just something to look out for. You know, I usually like to, from here I would do like the before you follow, the DNI, or a bio, whatever you would like to do. So we'll just say DYF. I'm just gonna go ahead and just copy what I did in my other one, and then make sure, again, important, highlight that text. You can do either at this point, and then DNI. So then from here, you would want to copy that text. So example, and go ahead and select that text again. Text. Drag it up here, and then example. Basically how I did that. So you would want to find images that match your theme. So I'm gonna just go ahead and insert an image on either side here. I don't have anything that matches this theme, obviously. I didn't really plan for this, and I probably should have. And then this one. Oh, that's a GIF. I didn't know that. So yeah, you can also use GIFs. I forgot to mention that. Or maybe I did mention that. I don't know. I'm kind of stupid. And then from there, if you would like to, you can add a button. So again, even that out. So you would add a button that goes like, maybe that says back to the beginning. Obviously, if you want this to link back to the beginning, if you want that, obviously not a requirement, you would just put the same exact thing you put on the first button, but minus whatever's at the end, and it'll just refresh the page, basically take you back to the beginning of your card. So yeah, very basic, very easy to make. I'll go ahead and save this card. Just so that I can show you how it functions and looks. So, this isn't how it looks. I have Midnight Lizard. It is an extension for Chrome that puts everything in dark mode, basically. So from here, you would click the next button, and it would take you to this web page. Usually GIFs take a bit longer to load, and on some devices, they might not load at all. So just keep that in mind, bear that in mind, if you do want to add a GIF or anything to your card. So that is just a very simple card layout. That is how I personally do it. There are a lot of ways you could do it. There are a lot of more creative options you can take. But it's just super simple. So yeah, that is how I made my card.